Afternoon and welcome to Building a Website Using HTML and CSS. Let us start with what exactly is HTML. HTML is hypertext markup language. It gives the content structure such as heading and paragraphs. You can create your own website using HTML, and it always represents content. It tells the browser how to display the content. HTML examples include elements, which define the structure and content of the objects within a page. Frequently used elements include heading 1 through heading 6 or paragraphs. H1 is the most important heading and H6 is least important heading. And here I have examples. You have your less than and your greater than bracket, and then you would put your heading 1, heading 6, or your paragraph inside of the brackets. Identified by the use of less than and greater than angle brackets around the element name. A tag is the use of the brackets surrounding an element. They occur in pairs and have an open-closing tag. The opening tag marks the beginning of an element. Example, you have your less than, your P, and then your greater than sign. The closing tag marks the end of an element. This is exactly the same, except for in front of the P, you would have a forward slash to show that you're ending it. Forgetting a tag will cause the page to not flow. The content between the opening and closing tags is the content for that element. They are not displayed on the browsers. All HTML documents require the same basic structure. The opening line is your doc type, HTML, which defines the document as HTML5, which is the most current HTML being used. It appears at the top of the page and it only appears once. So here you can see I have my brackets and I have my doc type. Next, you would put HTML, which defines it as the root element of an HTML page. So you have your brackets again in your HTML. And it begins with and it ends with an HTML as well. So you have to make sure that you put your forward slash in your HTML inside the brackets. The head element contains information about the document. As you can see, I have my beginning and ending heads. The title is the title for the document. So I would put title and then my first web page and then my ending title here to show that it's ended. The body contains the visible page content, so whatever you put inside this body is going to show up on the web page. So you can put heading 1, my first web page, then you can put paragraphs. This is why I decided to create the web page, or when I did it for my class, I created a dog grooming business. So I put a heading with my name, and then I put a paragraph with like why I chose to have a dog grooming business. And then there's the ending body, and then there's my ending HTML. W3 Schools is a great reference. You can use their online editor to code and edit your HTML to see it before you go ahead and put it in your document. So if I wanted to add a whole bunch of stuff, but I wasn't quite sure if I liked it or not, I could go to the editor, put it all in there, and see how it would look before I go to my actual Notepad++ and put it in. And that is what I was trained to use, was the Notepad++, which I really like. Next, you can add links to the document, and they are defined using an A symbol. The link is specified with the href attribute. So you have your A and then href. Images are defined with the image tag. So you have your image source, there's the image tag, and then you have your ending brackets as well. And then you can also create lists, and they can be created using unordered, bulleted, which you would use UL. So for my unordered bulleted, I have UL, and then the LI adds my items into the list, and then this is what it would look like. So it's unordered list, and I would just have coffee and tea. And then you can do an ordered list, which you put OL instead of the UL, and so that makes it ordered. So I have 1 and 2. And there are empty elements with no content. So say I was typing a paragraph and I wanted to put a page break. I could put the element sign, the brackets, and then I could put BR, and that would give me a page break and separate out some of the stuff. When you are typing, your HTML is not case sensitive, but they recommend that you use lowercase because I think it's easier on the eyes to read. You can style the text inside the HTML but I wasn't taught that way. So next we'll go on to what is CSS. CSS is a presentation language to style the appearance of content, such as fonts and colors. They always present the appearance of the content. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. HTML and CSS are independent of one another. So you're going to type up your HTML document, say in Notepad++, and get it how you like it, and then you would go and you would create an external file that you would put all your CSS stuff in, and then you link it together, which I will explain that more at the end. CSS should not be written inside of an HTML document and vice versa. CSS can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once, thus saving a lot of work, which I have created my own web page, and doing the CSS on its own was so much easier than trying to code it inside the HTML document, because I started doing it that way, and my instructor pointed out to me how it was much easier, and I definitely agree with her. So the reference I have for the CSS is you have your body, and then you would have your curly brackets, which I did not do a very good job drawing, and then I would have, say, background color, and then I would have light blue. So if I wanted my background color to be black, I would put background color black. And then my heading 1 on here, my example, I have it the white color, and then I have it text align centered. So my heading 1 is going to be centered, and it's going to be white. CSS examples. Let's see. I have to take some of these down. Because I did not have any room. Okay. A selector designates which element or elements to target and apply styles. You can be extremely specific or have a wide range, such as every paragraph. They include and attribute values such as an ID, class, or element. Selectors are followed by curly brackets, which encompass the styles to be applied. So, example again would be on that other page where you have brackets, and then you have your style in the middle. Once you select the element, the property determines what style is being applied. They fall after a selector in the curly brackets and precede a colon. There's numerous available colors, numerous available selectors such as background color, font size, height, and width. Values determine the behavior of the property. They are between the colon and the semicolon. So here I have my value, here's my selector, and here's my property. Common practice is to indent the paragraph and value pairs. So, and it's the same when you're coding HTML. It just makes it flow a lot better, and it's easier to read because it's not all squashed on one side. So here I tried to show you how I would type head, and then I would space over, and I would tab over, and then I would type in my link, and then I would hit enter and go back and type it, so it would be like kind of not really zigzag, but it just looks a lot nicer. It's the same with HTML, it's the same with the CSS, and it helps keep it organized and legible. Colors for CSS can be predefined values along the lines of RGB, or you can make up your own colors. The W3 Schools site gives many options and examples of how to use them. So you could put like your RGB, and then you could have like a whole bunch of numbers, or you could pick a color that says like light blue and put it in there. Or I did it for my website where they gave me a little color spin thing, and I just picked a color off there and then kind of played with it to get it exactly how I wanted it. When using CSS, you can change the padding properties around an element's content also. So here would be the padding. So say I wanted more room at the top, I could put padding top 50. If I wanted more at the left, I would put 80. So you can just change it however you want it, so you can have it more this way, more that way. It just gives you a lot of options of how you can make things look. In order for CSS to talk to our HTML, we need to reference it inside our HTML. The best way is to create an external style sheet for CSS and reference it in the head element of the HTML doc. So here, say this is my HTML element, I would have head, and then this would be the link for my style sheet, and then I would put it in head. And then whenever I open up the web page, it's going to pull up my HTML document, and it's going to style it exactly how I say in the style sheet. This training should have taught you the basic of HTML and CSS, and you should be able to build a basic web page using the information I have provided.